So, a lot of you heard the story of me fishing with my mother-in-law this morning, catching a huge king salmon, and that cemented our relationship for the rest of her life. We were out fishing in Icy Strait, a place that we'll be traversing. And we were going out early in the morning, and I saw something laying in the water. And usually when I see something in the water, I tend to shy away from it just in case it's a float and it's got a lot of line on it or something. You don't want to get the prop fouled or anything. But in this case, something caused me to take a run over to it. And it ended up a bald eagle floating several miles from shore. Yeah, so I was going to leave them there because, I'm a wildlife biologist and I'm a firm believer that sometimes animals do something that should eliminate them from the gene pool. That's a hard way to look at it, but my mother-in-law, on the other hand, bless her heart, said, it's an eagle. We can't just leave it. Well, okay. So, there's a whole bunch of laws about having eagles, touching eagles, possessing eagles. But I did it anyway. I brought it on board. I wrapped it up in my brand new Cabela's hunting jacket. And I put him up in the bow of the boat. And I'd look in there every once in a while, thinking, well, maybe he'd warm up and dry out. And when he got healthy enough, we'd just put him out on a rock or something. And then I opened up and I had a dilemma. I had an eagle in my boat, an eagle that didn't want to be there, and I wasn't sure what to do. So eventually, what I did was I thought, well, I'll just grab him by the legs. Both legs, because the talons on an eagle are something that you really want to avoid. It's the talons that cause the damage. I mean, they've got a sharp beak, yeah, but so get rid of them somehow. But I couldn't drag him out through the cabin of the boat because Marge was sitting in the cockpit, and I didn't want her to get beat up by this eagle. And so, what am I going to do? And he's trying to fly, and he's beating on me. And you might remember there was a hatch in the boat. So he's beating on me, and I unscrewed the hatch, and I managed to open it up. And when it collapsed his wings, I threw him up out onto the deck, and he sat there for about 5 minutes. Jumped off the bow of the boat, about 6 inches off the water. He started flapping, and he flapped, and he flapped about a quarter mile over to a rock on an island where he stood there with his wings out in the sun. I hope he recovered, but I don't know. So when I got home, I called a friend of mine in the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service because they're responsible for bald eagles. And I said, Phil, my friend Art was out the other day, and he found this eagle out on the water, and he didn't know what to do with it. So he picked it up and he brought it in, and he asked me, is that legal? And I said, I didn't know what to tell him. I'll call Phil. And Phil, there was a pause, and he said, well, Pete, you can tell your friend that it is legal to have a bald eagle if it's injured, if you're taking it to a vet or a raptor rehabilitation center. And I said, well, that's good to know. I'll let Art know. So the other question, I said, well, Phil, I've got you on the phone. Why would an eagle end up out on the water, miles from shore? What's going on there? He said, well, a couple of things. One, he says, sometimes eagles they'll swoop down, they'll grab a fish, and it'll be too heavy for them. And what they'll do in that case is they'll settle on the water with that fish, they won't let go, and they will row ashore with their wings. And I've seen them do that within 15 or 20 feet of shore, but not a couple of miles from shore. He said the other thing that could happen is that, eagles are always performing these mating dances with their they mate for life So they're always doing these dances, these elaborate dances where they soar, circle way up in the air, and then they will dive and they'll turn upside down and they'll lock claws and they'll twist and they'll let go and they'll dive and grab claws and twist it. And sometimes one might not pull out in time and they'll smack. And sometimes that's the end of them. I said, well, that's interesting. I guess that wouldn't be the first time in history that the mating instinct overcame common sense.